Voters accuse government of disrupting results collation in Port Harcourt. Hoodlums set Electoral Commission office ablaze in Akwa Ibom. Bandits kill 6 local security operatives in Katsina attack. On the foreign scene, Tunisians rally against President Said ahead of October 6th election. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us. Now, voters in Rivers State have accused the police of disrupting the collation of results in this Saturday's local government election in the state. As Ward 19 Elekahe Port Harcourt City Local Government Area Collation Center, voters alleged that the police came in shooting and using tear gas on them. Some ballot papers were seen littered at the entrance of the collation center. Some of the voters said the voting process was already over and counting concluded before the disruption. No police was at the scene to give their own account of what transpired at the time newsmen arrived. However, the Rivers State Police Command has promised to release an official statement on the incident. Despite so much controversy surrounding the local government election, including court orders directing the police not to participate, the election went ahead on Saturday.
Police came, according to their narration, at the Ward 19 Collation Center. And according to their narration, that the police came and disrupted the process and scattered the whole place. But according to some of them too, they said the police came late, that they had finished the elections and they had already counted and before the police arrived to disrupt the process. This is Ward 19.
Hoodlums have set the Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission in Ibom local government area of the state on fire. Confirming the incident in Uyo, the state public police relations officer ASP Timfon John revealed that hoodlums orchestrated the fire, but however said electoral materials remained untouched while the election continued as scheduled. John asserted that the police later ensured that the elections proceeded without a hitch. There was confusion on Saturday in Makurdi, the capital of Benue State, as voters searched endlessly for where to cast their votes in the scheduled local government election. A visit to some polling units at the Nulge office, Ankpa quarters, Wadata, Modern Market, North Bank and Nepa polling units along Otukpo Road and Barracks Road between 10 a.m. and 1:10 p.m. revealed no sign of electoral materials. At some of the polling units visited, there were no electoral officers or election materials. Just as voters claimed, they were asked to move to the ward headquarters to exercise their franchise. At a few minutes past 1 p.m., the presiding officer at Nulge polling unit, Enukela Ako, said he resumed at the polling unit as early as 7:30 in the morning, adding that he waited for materials to no avail. When our correspondent visited the Walumaya Ward Collation Center at about 11:37 a.m., where election materials ought to have been distributed to all the polling units, electoral officers were seen sorting out the materials. Some voters who spoke to our correspondents at Tili Gyadu and Agantol Gate Ward Collation Centers expressed concern about what they described as the centralization of voting. Bandits on Friday killed 4 members of a local security outfit known as Community Security Watch Corps and 2 local vigilantes in Faskari local government area of Katsina State. The local security operatives were ambushed and killed by the bandits on Yankara Faskari Road, according to sources. The sources also added that the assailants emerged from the cover of the crops on the nearby farms and opened fire on the vehicle conveying the local security operatives, adding that 6 of them died on the spot. The remains of the deceased have since been buried in Faskari according to Islamic injunctions. Many residents who spoke to Trust TV News in Katsina expressed worry over the increasing onslaught on local communities despite military presence at Faskari Super Camp, which is a few meters away from the scene of the incident. The Borno State Police Command has arrested 14 suspects for theft of properties during the Maiduguri flood that ravaged communities in the state. Briefing news that the police command in the state capital of Maiduguri. The police command said 4 of the suspects were apprehended for stealing palliatives designated for flood victims, adding that one suspect disguised as a flood victim, while other suspects were arrested for government property theft. The suspects were paraded with exhibits recovered, including bags of rice, TV sets, air conditioners, and computers, among others. The State Police Public Relations Officer Nahum Kenneth Daso said the suspects will be charged to court for prosecution and warned criminals to desist from nefarious activities, as the law will be unfriendly when caught.
During a joint patrol in a specific area, severe suspects were arrested around Muna, Gamboru, and 505 area. The suspects were found in dwelling houses which were submerged by the water, in possession of various items such as cattle, mattresses, house belongings, and various property. The command remains steadfast in curbing criminal activities and ensuring public safety, especially during the challenging period. Criminals are further warned to desist from their illegal activities and nefarious acts or face the severe consequences of the law.
Still staying with security matters, we go down to the southeast, where in Abia State, the police have confirmed the arrest of 3 suspects in connection with the beheading of a septuagenarian couple at Itumbuzo, Benda local government area of the state. The police public relations officer in the state, Maureen Chinaka, disclosed this in a statement on Saturday. Maureen added that in the aftermath of the attack, several properties were carted away from the house. She noted that 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the crime and are currently under interrogation at the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, Umahia. The Commissioner of Police, Abia State Command, Dan Ladisa, expressed deep concern over the unfortunate incident and appealed to residents of Abia State to remain calm and assure them that the mystery behind this criminal act will be unraveled to ensure prompt dispensation of justice. Devastating flood has ravaged Kebbi State, claiming 29 lives, destroying 321,000 homes and decimating 858,000 farmlands. Thousands are left homeless and a region on the brink of food crisis. Here's the report.
Kebbi State is facing a catastrophic flood crisis, resulting in devastating losses. At least 29 lives have been lost and approximately 321,000 houses destroyed, leaving thousands without shelter. The agricultural sector is the worst impacted, with over 858,000 farmlands left in ruins, threatening food security in the region. According to the Commissioner for Information, Yakubu Ahmed, the flood was triggered by the release of water from the Goronyo Dam and the convergence of waters from River Rima and River Ka. This perfect storm has brought the state to its knees, with 16 out of 21 local government areas affected. The Commissioner appealed to the federal government, corporate organizations, and individuals to support the state in mitigating the effects of the flood.
Because we are already so much. Whatever has been planted has been lost. We're talking about how to empower these people to remain on their farms in order to continue to produce the food we eat here and eat outside the country. So our intention personally is to use the media this time around to get across to Nigerians and the world at large understand the good state.
In a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kebbi State, Ahmed Idris, stated that the Governor on Monday inspected the collapsed bridge along Yauri Koko Road and urged the Federal Ministry of Works to expedite action in fixing the road as it will affect the transportation network of the country, which is significant to their economic development. The people of Kebbi State are going through a difficult time, as some mourn the loss of their loved ones, others face the destruction of their farmlands, and others are left without a roof over their heads. They are calling on the federal government for assistance, as the magnitude of the disaster may be too great for the state to handle alone. From Birinin Kebbi, Cynthia Yungu, reporting for Trust TV.
No fewer than 150 displaced families at the Salama resettlement housing in Yola that are affected by the 2024 floods in Adamawa have received food supplies as part of the 2024 Migrants and Refugee Day. The relief brought smiles to their faces as they express gratitude to the donors, hailing the act of kindness as a beacon of hope in their time of need.
In a bid to ease the burden of Nigeria's economic challenges, 150 households received essentials like maize, sugar, granules, and beans. The initiative, led by Mission Tech Heart in partnership with the Justice, Development and Peace Commission (YOLA), reached families from 11 camps. Bala Usman of the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs praised the NGO for their timely support amidst rising living costs. Bishop Stephen Damimamza of the Catholic Diocese of Yola, known for its consistent aid to IDPs, encouraged beneficiaries to use this relief to enhance their productivity and contribute to society.
But their crops have been destroyed, their farmland has been destroyed because of the flood and also the drought that we had during the year. So it is a commemoration of the Day for Migrants, Internet Displaced and Refugees that we are commemorating for the year 2024. And through the assistance of our partner organization, Mission Tech Heart, whom we have been collaborating for the past 7-8 years, they were able to support us, and we collaborated in order to get the foodstuff, in order to give to these people as relief materials.
The beneficiaries could not contain their joy, smiling as they carried their food supplies home, grateful for the relief that will help ease their hunger.
Even as at yesterday, if you come to this camp yesterday, people, when they had the message that the food is coming, many of them were dancing there. We are very happy. You know the hardship we have. Many of them now today, they don't have anything to eat in their houses. Possibly today, majority of these people today will have food on their table here today in the camp. We are very happy.
The donation was made in honor of Migrants and Refugees Day 2024. Gibson Soadugu, Trust TV News, Yola.
Two more stories. In Taraba State, teachers have called on the federal government to incorporate the views of teachers in the decision-making process of the education sector in the country. They made the call at an event to mark this year's World Teachers' Day in the state. Here's the report.
The National Union of Teachers Secretariat in Taraba State was agog as the teachers from the 16 local government areas converged to commemorate the day. The Taraba State Secretary of the Union, Ali Fanami, harped on the important role teachers play in shaping the society and the need to ensure the participation of teachers in decision-making in education.
This year's celebrations will emphasize the pivotal role the teachers play in shaping the future of education and the urgent need to incorporate their perspectives into educational policy and decision-making processes. Today, we gather not to celebrate our profession, but also to reflect on our role as the bedrock of society, shaping future generations and nurturing the leaders of tomorrow.
The Taraba NUT chairman, Nathan Solomon, said this year's celebration will focus on the role that teachers play in shaping the future of education and the urgent need to incorporate their perspectives into the decision-making process in the sector.
Teachers make a vital contribution to the education and development of our future leaders. Teachers lay the foundation of a civilized and progressive society. Their dedicated work and the pain they encounter to ensure that students turn out to be enlightened citizens deserve high recognition.
The Taraba State Governor, Abu Kefes, represented by the State Commissioner of Education, Augustina Yahaya Godwin, assured that the government will continue to give education priority attention for betterment of the younger generation.
In order to continue to implement and sustain the free education policy in our dear state, we need to take time and think of creative ways that we ourselves can sustain this free education policy. Apart from what the state government through the Ministry of Education is doing to promote to get developmental partners to support the free education policy, we have to find ways of getting the general public to participate.
The theme for 2024 World Teachers' Day is valuing teachers' voices towards a new social contract for education.
Nigerian writers are lamenting what they describe as poor treatment from the state ministries of education and the Nigerian Education Research and Development Council (NERDC). This lack of support has resulted in inadequate representation for Nigerian authors in the national curriculum, highlighting a significant gap in local literary visibility within the education system. Jimmy Azande spoke to some stakeholders in Makurdi in his report.
Paul Abu, the author of The Dance of the Wizards, published in 2021, recently expresses concern about the challenges faced by publishers after his book was selected for Basic 9, the equivalent of junior secondary school, by the Benue State Ministry of Education.
It's one of my texts have been recommended by the Benue State Ministry of Education for the junior secondary school. The book I authored 2021, The Dance of the Wizard, which was shortlisted for Anna Literature Award because of the educational value and the cultural background. So this text has been recommended, but I have challenged as an author because this book has been recommended. It is in the curriculum, written in the book. How many schools have this curriculum?
He noted that politics aside, the poor reading culture in the country is also hindering the growth of the literary thread.
You present a quality material out there, but the goal of it, getting it to the final audience now becomes a challenge now. Because we had processes of registration. You get to register. For example, you register with NETSI, as Nigerian Education Research Development Council. And at the state level, you register with the Ministry of Education.
School owners explained that no institution has the authority to choose materials outside of the ministry's approved list.
Normally, we receive a book list from the Ministry of Education, and then thereafter look at the ones prescribed by them and select the most pressing one if we cannot go for all of them.
Students say that most of the recommended tests for study at the tertiary level are foreign works, which often lack relevance to their experiences and the realities of the Nigerian society.
From the Department of English where I'm studying, you have so many authors like Noam Chomsky, who are actually proponents of so many grammatical theories. And then you come to literature, you talk about things like people like William Shakespeare. You are talking about so many other authors that have actually written so many books on poetry, books on drama and the rest. And many of these books are books that are written by foreign authors.
An anonymous officer from the Benue State Ministry of Education acknowledged that the standard of publications can be questionable, adding that they are working to incorporate more local content in Benue schools. Meanwhile, writers are advising those who write solely for survival to seek alternative sources due to the disheartening conditions in the sector. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The federal government has said that no Nigerian life has been lost in Lebanon amid the escalating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. As Israel increases strikes in Lebanon, the Nigerian government said it has commenced preparation for the evacuation of Nigerians there. In a statement signed by the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Eche Aboud, on Saturday, the government said the Nigerian embassy in Lebanon has been actively working to protect its nationals. While the situation in Lebanon remains volatile, the embassy had advised Nigerians as early as August 2024 to voluntarily evacuate with commercial flights still available. It added that Nigerian citizens in southern Lebanon, one of the most dangerous areas, have been relocated to safer regions such as Beirut, with assistance from community leaders. Rapidly escalating violence in recent days saw intense Israeli strikes on Hezbollah strongholds across Lebanon as ground troops conducted raids near the border, transforming nearly a year of cross-border exchanges into full-blown war. Crowds of Tunisians took to the streets once again to voice their discontent with President Kais Saied as the country's October 6 presidential election draws closer. They accused Saied of limiting the number of opponents who can run against him. Among the crowd were many young people, some of whom are refusing to vote on Sunday. Tunisia's Electoral Commission, appointed by Saied, has only approved 2 other candidates to run against him. In August, Human Rights Watch said authorities had ruled out several other potential candidates from running in the election through persecution and imprisonment. Since he came to power in 2019, Saied has suspended parliament and pushed through a new constitution to reinforce his own power. His administration has clamped down on perceived opponents, arresting lawyers, journalists, and activists. Residents of Rwanda are worried following the spread of the Marburg virus after the Health Ministry confirmed the country's first outbreak of the virus on Friday, September 27, with 8 reported fatalities. The deadly virus, which is capable of a fatality rate of up to 88%, spreads to humans from fruit bats and through contact with infected bodily fluids. The ministry has advised the public to avoid close contact with symptomatic individuals, highlighting symptoms such as fever, headaches, muscle aches, vomiting, and diarrhea. In response, the government is ramping up contact tracing, surveillance, and testing, urging citizens to maintain good hygiene practices, including frequent hand washing. Speaking with locals, residents expressed deep concern about the virus. As Rwanda navigates this unprecedented situation, the urgency for awareness and protective measures continues to grow. The Health Ministry has released guidelines which stipulate that patients will not receive any visitors in the next 14 days, while they will receive only one caregiver at a time.
This virus increases, it will affect we as people, it will kill us the way it did in COVID, and we can even go back to the lockdown.
With more diseases emerging from neighboring countries, we need proactive measures to safeguard public health. The risk of transmission is a daily reality for those of us interacting with tourists.
Within the country, the first case tested was from one of the university teaching hospitals within Kigali. It was a patient followed in emergency care, ICU. Which were not responding to other treatments, and many tests were conducted, including these viral diseases. There are many, and this happened to be positive. From there, contacts and tracing other contacts, and that's where also healthcare providers, some of them already developing symptoms.
On the sports scene, Rwanda's capital city Kigali is on the verge of making history as the first African country to host the UCI Universal Cycling International Road World Championships. Now, the 2025 UCI Road World Championships will take place in Kigali from September 21 to September 28, 2025. The championship is anticipated will be historic, as Rwanda will become the first African country to host the Road World Championships. 5,000 cyclists and 20,000 delegates are expected to converge on the city for the event from September 21 to September 28. It is predicted that the 2025 championship is going to be one of the hardest editions, with 5,475 meters of climbing. With that, we've come to the end of News Updates at this time. For more news, programs, and documentaries, go to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I'm Shamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time.